DJ Metal Craig of Craig's Metal Storm here, and I have one of the members of Love Sick Drug with me today. Hey, how's it going? And would you like to introduce yourself and what position you do in the band?
Yes, my name is Billy Blair. I play lead guitar for Lovesick Drug.
Please
And
go
I'm a
back.
songwriter and I sing as well.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that, man. I accidentally jumped into the question a bit early, but who cares? We're doing this live as
Hell
best we can. So let's just get into the questions. First one is, please go back in the history of Love Sick Drug and how the band all got started.
well, I had this idea a long time ago uh, this was like many years ago of I wanted girls in the band and some guy, mix it up and have hard rock music with just sexiness and put all the elements together as far as like hard rock, shock rock, uh, radio, you name it, make it as big and theatrical as possible. And it took a while, and then I finally got the people on board, the right ingredients, so to speak, and here we are. And it took us forever to get this album made, and which I'm sure you've heard by now. It's called Love Bite, and our live show, our live performances are pretty ecstatic, man. It's definitely up there for the theatrics, and so it's exactly what I wanted years ago, and so we got that going now.
Right on, and just so you know, I joined the album thanks to Head First Entertainment, and thank you to Dave for setting us up with this interview today. I want to let you know the album is absolutely sick and amazing, and I wanted also to let you know that it had a very glam rock vibe to it, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's got all the elements in there for sure.
How did you guys come up with the Lovesick Drug band logo, and who designed it?
Well, my guitar player designed it. Of course, I came up with the name. I came up with the concept of LSD. Lou Morris is the other lead guitarist. He's the one that does a lot of the artwork, and he came up with the logo. And I got to say, man, it is kind of like the stamp of our, of our approval of our music for sure.
What are the band's immediate music career goals?
Well, I mean, we want to see how far we can get with this project. I mean, a lot of us have done big things, myself included, touring, arena amphitheaters, what do you call it, uh, festivals. So I would like to bring this band up there. I mean, hell, I mean, we're about to open up for Gene Simmons, so I think that's a good start. Somebody with the theatrics of rock and roll. You know,
Okay. Did you get in all the information you wanted on that question, buddy?
yeah. What else? What else was in there?
Who came up with the album art for Love Bite?
Oh, the album art again. Well, Lou and I did that. We wanted to do um kind of the ode to Rolling Stone and uh, Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love. The Crutch uh, record cover, but ours is female. So we came up with that. It's just why not, man? It's an ode to the generations of rock and roll.
Funny thing you mentioned Motley Crue, buddy. I actually was a fan of them. The album that got me into it was the one with Dr. Feelgood on it.
Oh yeah, that was the the hype of their career. That's what made them like stardom.
The other,
Great record.
the other song I like by them though, and this one's a little bit of an old school one. I think it was only a single they did for it. Too young to fall in love.
Oh yeah,
Like
the
that.
the, the song "Tune to Fall in Love."
Yeah, that Too Young to Fall in Love song.
It's one of my
That's a
favorites, man.
classic.
One of my favorites. Yep. I remember when it came out on MTV when I was a kid, and I would stay up late just to watch it. It was so cool.
What was the concept behind the album title Love Bite?
Um, how did that come about? We wanted, uh, well, it was the whole thing with Love Sick Drug. Um, and we wanted to incorporate, instead of like coming up with a self-titled album, we wanted to do something as far as like if you see our like part of the logo that we got with the lips and the fangs, I came up with that. And so we just thought of like we need to have something that bites you, like the music, the record, everything. And then we knew that Def Leppard had the song "Love Bites," and that's with almost like a with a plural. And so we wanted to do we thought we could get away with the singular, just a love bite. So that's I think that's how that came about, if I'm correct.
Right on. This next one is a really good one. And I'm going to ask you about one of my favorite songs off the album, Buddy. What were the themes and concepts behind the song Unfollowed?
Ooh, unfollowed. That yeah, that one's definitely our technical, so to speak, song. With the stops, everything. I wrote that. Um, I don't know. I had this idea that song is now our opener. So we have like like an intro on that. You got to see it live. It's freaking amazing. But um, I wrote I wrote the music part of it. Lou wrote the lyrics. So I don't know. I don't know what the idea was with the whole thing. It's just everything's just about everything in life as far as like a lot of positive, a lot of getting through things. I'm sure that that's what the song came about. But I wanted the dynamics, just the way you hear it, just the stops. Wanted to show the technical side of us. So on my part of writing the song, it was just like I want to bring in the how tight we can be and dynamic, and then Lou helps with the lyrics.
This next one's a good one. I'm going to catch you a little bit off guard. If you had a band company gear endorsement you'd like to pursue, who would it be?
Say that again.
I said, if you had a band company gear endorsement you would like to pursue, who would it be?
Oh, a company. As far as like the band gear,
Yeah, band gear, microphones, that kind of thing. The microphones or the guitarist yourself seems you're a microphone, a singer and
oh,
guitarist.
well, I mean, definitely, Marshall, of course, can't go wrong with that. Sure mics, I use that. That would be great. Um, uh, God, guitar, Gibson. I mean, if we had, I mean, the the big names, we had all that. I think you're prone to just sound like a true rock and roll band. Just like when you see Ace Frehley, he's with the Marshall and then a Les Paul. It's just, dude, that's just rock and roll signature. So I would take that. I would follow up with that element.
Right on. This next one is going to get you thinking a little bit too. Who are the band's musical influences?
Oh gosh. Now this is crazy because it goes, like we got the rhythm section that are very metal, talking about like they like Slayer, Sepultura, all that stuff. And then you got Lou and I, where we're Alice Alice in Chains meets Alice Cooper with some Motley Crue and maybe some 80s new wave, you know, Duran Duran, that would be like my end. Uh, and then our singer is Christina Aguilera. So you mix all that together and put in a bowl.
Great one. Just so you know, I'm actually a fan of Alice Cooper. I'm also a fan of Alice in Chains. I missed the
Oh,
first vocalist from Alice in Chains. Lane Staley was brilliant. It's sad that he died of a heroin overdose.
that was such a tragedy, man.
I know, damn drug addictions and stuff.
I know, man. You know, and, talking about that, isn't it great to hear like Marilyn Manson out of all the people just like sobering up and getting his shit together?
Yeah, I'm actually a
It looked
recovering
like that
addict
guy was like
myself
coming
too.
down a spiral down, staircase. People were thinking he was going to be dead, but now he cleaned up and he looks great, better than ever.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there, buddy. Funny thing,
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you something about myself. I'm an actual recovered addict. I got 14 years clean.
good for you, man. Good for you.
Was not easy though. It was not easy. I was destroying my life everywhere imaginable. I almost lost my girlfriend to 24 years, Lisa to 10 years of drinking and drugging.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was definitely doing that with the cocaine, and I cleaned up on that. I mean, I drink every once in a while, but it's all discipline. But I'm glad you're clean and sober, man.
Me too. I'm going to get into the next question if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Please give some advice for starting out bands to better promote themselves.
Well, now these days we have social media, so it's like no excuse to get out and just make videos, concept, uh, just promote. That's all it is, promote. Stay with it. Uh, don't give up. Of course, that's the old clichéness, but it's the truth. Write killer songs and, try to get, in a band, it's whether you're a solo guy, you could be Lenny Kravitz, write everything and then hire the band. But if you're not, you got to put up with three or four or five, nine guys in the band and just try to get along. If you want to go for the long run and make it, you just gotta, you know, make it work. No one's hardly ever gonna ever agree on anything, but you gotta balance it out. Like what we do is, no one can uh make an agreement. We'll just throw it in a hat, you know, and then pull it out, and that's the way to, come up with an agreement, whether it's songwriting or I don't know, a theme of the concept of the band. You know what I mean? Uh, look, whatever it is. But yeah, never give up. Just work hard.
And it's a funny thing you mentioned social media outlets. What social media outlets can the band be found on, as in reach on and stuff?
As far as I mean, you got all the platforms, um, TikTok, Instagram. Um, just make videos of yourself, whether you know saying something, talking to the fans, making new fans. Always hashtag. And if you got music and video, learn to you know collaborate all those editing into like like a trailer, like a movie of all your music and uh, interviews together and make it exciting. And everybody that's on a phone, all they do is they want to see what's on their phone. Like be entertained, and everybody's attention span is very minimal. So do something like really really short and quick, but catchy, and then that's how you attract you know fans and new people onto your social media.
Funny thing you mentioned YouTube there. Do you have a band YouTube channel? And if so, what material can be found on it?
Yeah, we got our Lovesick Drug on YouTube, all our videos there, all the behind the scenes, a lot of live stuff. Just go on the Lovesick Drug YouTube. That's what we got. And then there'll be like links to all our other stuff, like my acting and whatever Lou's got on his platform.
Right on. What do you think could sorry, got a little tongue-tied on that one. What do you
It's
think
okay.
you could do to refine your sound if you think it could be improved at all? As in changes you can make to improve the sound of what you're going to do for the next album if you were to do another album.
Yeah, that and that's the thing, man. You know, it, it goes like, and it never fails. I mean, we always get better, and then we'll listen. Like I'll listen to the first album, and then it's just like, oh, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. And you're always gonna have that. But um, I would definitely like after listening to our latest album and all the other stuff, put more. I'm all about putting more harmonies into there, as far as like whoever could sing in the band, put their vocals in there, kind of like Alice in Chains. I remember just recently I was listening to Jerry Cantrell and how he said the first album was, of course, the test and trial error of the band. That was their first album, and they knew, with especially with him and Lane, how to uh, harmonize together, how their voices uh, match well together, and then they built that structure onto their next few albums they had with Lane. So that it's the same old blueprint. You want to make that better. I want that bigger. Maybe I don't know. I don't want to sound overproduced, but I want it to sound where when you play it, it's very organic. Like, if that makes any sense.
We got two more questions for the interview. Time will permit it. And
Okay.
second last question of the interview is, please give some vocal tips or advice for starting out vocalists.
Vocalists. Oh man, don't suck. But then again, you got all ranges from you got like Jeff Tate, right? You got opera sounding, and then you got Bob Dylan. So you can't go wrong. Um, just I don't know, just be original. I always say because I like to listen to, when I hear bands like The Cult is a good example. It's fucking Ian Ashbury, and so you know what I mean. So Jim Morrison, it's The Doors. So have a unique voice. I would say, like just come in, whether it's monotone, baritone, whatever it is, whatever comes out naturally, make it that and stick with it. And these days, I mean, look at Perry Farrell, man. Guy always sang out of key, I thought, but it worked. So just, you got to find that thing that makes it work. And then the other guys in the band, somebody else coming into your band or you going into them that would mesh up, complement your voice, if that makes sense.
Right on, man. Funny thing you mentioned vocals. I'm actually a vocalist myself. I do stuff for the death metal scene.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I did stuff like DSI Counterparts, Fear Factory, Immortal Possession, Immortal, Level Creation, all of the crazy, heavy stuff. They're really hard to do harsh, growly vocals.
Yeah, dude, like Fear Factory, like you just said, man, I like his heaviness and then chants, almost kind of very, uh uh like choir, church choir type, you know what I mean? What's his name? Some Bell, something?
Chris Barnes,
Some
yeah, 6 feet under. He used to be in Cattle Corpse for the first four albums up to the Bleeding.
That's right. That's right. Great shit, man.
Okay. That's good. Leaves us now with the last question of the interview, if you're cool with it. And that'll still give us time to get a station ID or two.
Say
What?
that again.
I said we have one last question for the interview, and then we have time to get a station ID or two after that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
What new band news do you have on the Love Sick Drug front, as in anything we might have missed in this interview about the band?
Well, we got a video coming out, new video called Can't You See? It's our little rap rock that we got. Uh, my a buddy of mine, producer that I do films with, directed it. So that'll be coming out real soon. If it's not over this weekend, it'll probably be next weekend. Um, we're gearing up for a tour, seeing who we could jump on. Uh, that's coming out that we could mesh up with. Uh, do little legs here and there on the tour. I know we're like I mentioned earlier, we're playing with Gene Simmons over here in Texas. Um, yeah, and then we're gonna go in the studio, record one new song and a cover song. The cover song, I don't know yet. We're still again, we're gonna do the whole paper and the hat and the you know pull it out and make come up make the agreement that way.
Okay, and that leaves us now with the station IDs, which we'll get in just a sec on a separate file in the
Okay.
recorder.